With Grand Theft Auto 6 now pushed to late 2026, we have a lot of time to kill, copying Rockstar's homework. But Mafia, Definitive Edition, it does the exact opposite. And that is why it remains a masterpiece, even now. With Mafia, the old country, recently taking us back to the roots of the mob in Sicily, it is the perfect time to revisit the streets of Lost Heaven. This isn't a playground, it is a film set. Every vintage car, every rain-slicked cobblestone, and every note of that swelling orchestral score exists to serve one thing: the narrative. Rockstar's formula often relies on distraction, filling the map with bowling mini-games and random collectibles just to pad out the runtime. Mafia respects your time by trimming the fat. You aren't Tommy Angelo, the chaotic deity of destruction. You are Tommy Angelo, the cab driver turned soldier, living a life of constant, sweating tension. The city of Lost Heaven feels more authentic than almost any digital metropolis because it operates on the logic of the 1930s, not the logic of a video game. Police will pull you over for speeding, not just for murder. The cars drive like heavy mechanical beasts that require actual skill to handle. It forces you to play a role. When you are driving to a hit, the intrigue isn't about whether you'll fail the mission mechanics. It's about what the hit means for Tommy's soul. If you're tired of empty maps filled with busy work while waiting for the next big release, Mafia offers a curated cinematic experience that proves structure is often better than total freedom. It is a crime against gaming history that we never got a true sequel to Sleeping Dogs. While the industry chases massive scales in procedural generation in 2026, this gem, remastered and still looking gritty today, nailed something no other open-world crime game has: the combat. In GTA, your character fights like a stiff action figure. In Sleeping Dogs, Wei Shen fights like a martial arts legend. The combat engine is bone-crunching, rhythmic, and incredibly satisfying. You aren't just pressing a button to punch, you are grabbing enemies, dragging them to environmental hazards, and introducing their faces to ventilation fans, phone booths, and shutters. The setting of Hong Kong provides a texture that American-centric crime games simply lack. It is dense, it is vertical, and it is sweaty. The neon lights reflecting off the wet pavement create an atmosphere that feels claustrophobic in the best way possible. Beyond the fists, the driving mechanics feature an action hijack move that lets you leap from your moving car onto another, a mechanic that remains one of the most fun things to do in any game, period. Sleeping Dogs didn't need a map the size of a real state to make its mark. It focused on density and gameplay depth. It understands that being a criminal enforcer is physical work, and it makes you feel every bruise. We can finally talk about Cyberpunk 2077 without the asterisks. With the sequel, Project Orion, still years away, Night City remains the definitive sci-fi open world for 2026. After the massive 2.0 overhaul and the Phantom Liberty expansion, this game has solidified itself as the most complex, vertically integrated city ever built. Night City makes Los Santos look like a flat, quiet suburb. The sheer scale of the architecture, the layers of highways stacking on top of each other, and the oppressive detail of the advertisements create a sensation of being small in a world that doesn't care about you. What separates this from the GTA formula is the RPG DNA. In GTA, you play a character written by Rockstar. In Cyberpunk, you build V. You decide if you are a smooth-talking corporate agent who hacks enemies' brains from a distance, or a street kid with mantis blades protruding from your forearms. The narrative deals with themes of transhumanism and corporate dystopianism with a maturity that most games shy away from. It is a dense, heavy, and visually overwhelming experience, offering a glimpse into a dark future that feels terrifyingly plausible. With the closure of Volition, Saints Row III stands as the undisputed peak of the franchise and a monument to a lost era of gaming. While modern open worlds in 2026 are obsessed with immersion and realism, forcing you to fuel your car or manage your weight, Saints Row III asks a more important question. What if you could beat people up with a giant purple bat while skydiving out of a helicopter? This game is the ultimate palate cleanser. It takes the crime genre and injects it with pure, unfiltered adrenaline and absurdity. The gameplay is built on the philosophy of yes. You want to drive a tank down the highway? Yes. You want to call in an airstrike on a rival gang operation? Yes. You want to enter a digital simulation to fight toilet people? Sure, why not? It sheds its self-serious tone from its competitors to provide a sandbox that is genuinely funny and empowers the player completely. It's a reminder that video games are allowed to be stupid fun, a concept that seems to be fading in the AAA space. Even with the release of Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii in 2025, Yakuza 0 remains the perfect entry point. It challenges the Western definition of open world. The map of Kamurocho is tiny compared to something like Red Dead, but it is deeper than an ocean. You don't drive across vast empty plains. You walk down a single street and find 5 different activities that are fully fleshed out. One minute, you're embroiled in a high-stakes real estate war involving the Tojo clan's fiercest lieutenants. The next, you're helping a timid band perform on the street, teaching a woman how to be a dominatrix, or winning a chicken for a bowling strike. The tonal whiplash is the brand's signature. It balances a gritty, tear-jerking crime noir story with the most bizarre and heartwarming side quests in gaming history. But the real magic is the sense of place. By the end of the game, you know the city by heart without needing the minimap. It proves that density and culture matter far more than square mileage. Ubisoft has a habit of making a dry first game and then a colorful, chaotic sequel. Watch Dogs 2 remains the prime example. It ditched the dour, rainy Chicago of the first game to a vibrant, sunny, and tech-obsessed San Francisco. This game captures the hacker fantasy better than anything else by turning the entire city into your controller. You don't just shoot people, you manipulate the systems around them. The gameplay loop creates a unique type of social stealth. You can clear out an entire enemy compound without setting foot inside, just by hacking cameras, driving your RC jumper through vents, and dropping stun bombs from your drone. If things get hot, you can forge a police warrant for a gang leader, sit back, and watch the SFPD arrest him while you drink coffee across the street. The tone deals with data privacy, social media manipulation, and corporate overreach in a way that feels incredibly relevant in 2026. It's a playground for the mischievous, offering a distinct flavor of anarchy that doesn't rely on being the biggest gun in the room. Just Cause 4 remains the ultimate physics playground. The narrative is nonsense, and the cutscenes are skippable, but nobody plays Just Cause for the plot. You play it because Rico Rodriguez is essentially a superhero with a grappling hook, a wingsuit, and an infinite supply of parachutes. The movement system alone ruins other open-world games. Once you have mastered the rhythm of grappling to a tree, opening your wingsuit, and gliding across a mountain range, walking feels archaic. The standout feature here is the weather system. Fighting a private military corporation inside a massive tornado that is ripping trees out of the ground and sucking up tanks is a spectacle that hasn't been matched since. You can attach balloons to a jeep to turn it into a blimp, strap rocket boosters to a cow, or tether a helicopter to a train. The game is a chaos simulator that encourages you to break the laws of physics. It doesn't punish you for being loud, it gives you points for it. LA Noire stands alone. It isn't really a sandbox game. It's a procedural police drama with an open-world backdrop. Set in 1947 Los Angeles, it captures the post-war atmosphere with painstaking detail. But the core technology, the motion-scan facial capture, remains startlingly effective even today. You aren't just reading text boxes. You are watching an actor's face for a micro-expression of guilt, a nervous swallow, or a shifting gaze. The gameplay revolves around patience and observation. You investigate crime scenes, manipulate objects to find clues, and then use that evidence to corner suspects in interrogations. It forces you to think like a detective. If you accuse a suspect without proof, the case goes cold. It is a mature, slow-burn experience that offers a distinct change of pace from the run-and-gun chaos of its peers. It is 2026, and Red Dead Redemption 2 is still the benchmark for technical detail in an open world. Rockstar didn't just build a map. They built an ecosystem. This is a game where the mud on your boots dries and cracks over time, where the animals hunt each other when you're not looking, and where NPCs remember the bar fight you started 3 weeks ago. It demands that you slow down. You have to brew your coffee, clean your gun to keep it from jamming, and bond with your horse. Some players found this chore-like, but for those who immersed themselves, it created a level of connection to the world that is unparalleled. Arthur Morgan's story is a tragic, Shakespearean decline of the outlaw era, delivered with some of the best writing and acting in the medium. It is a deliberate, heavy, and beautiful experience that asks you to live in its world rather than just consume it. We end with the most artistically striking open world ever made. With Ghost of Yoti having arrived in late 2025 to expand this universe, the original Ghost of Tsushima remains a masterclass in design that you must play. It solved the biggest problem of the genre, the UI clutter. Instead of staring at a minimap in the corner of the screen, you look at the world. The wind guides you to your objective. Birds lead you to secrets. Foxes lead you to shrines. It keeps your eyes on the breathtaking fields of pampas grass and the falling cherry blossoms. The combat is a lethal dance of steel, far more refined than the mash-heavy systems of other open-world titles. You switch stances to counter spears, shields, and swords, culminating in standoffs that feel ripped straight from a samurai film. It is proof that an open world can be beautiful, focused, and free of bloat.